So we're starting with Karnataka budget. Otherly, we'll first try to get sense of the numbers. Then we will start with the schemes. That class is not just useful for your KPSC or KS gazetted exam, but any exam called by KPSC or by Karnataka government. But it is due to the effort of the states. Meaning we provide good infrastructure, we provide good education system, healthcare system. So a lot of economic activities is taking place in our state. Thus, we are able to generate a good amount of GST, good amount of income tax. Okay, so this is a very serious class. Just because it is free doesn't mean that there is any compromise on the quality from our end. At the same time, I expect the same kind of seriousness from you all also. But over here, since it's a factual questions that are going to be asked more from here, revision is the key. If somebody is able to provide those information to you quickly in a more organized manner, it becomes easier. So I always try to link it with mains so that it becomes more interesting, right? Sustainable agriculture, water management, high value, and so why I have written this slide, it's not only for Krishi Bhagya. Any scheme relating to agriculture, you can use these points. When you do, the next one is the fiscal indicators. Very important. Even if it is not asked in prelims, important from your mains point of view. The fiscal indicator to how is our economy performing. Okay. Good morning, everyone. Wonderful to see such a crowd. So we'll start with the Karnataka issues, the master class, okay, called Mission Kadamba. So every week on Sundays, we shall conduct about 3 to 4 hours class, covering all the important topics from Karnataka issues relating to current affairs, budget, schemes, programs, everything. All right. So this probably is the only thing that you would require for your Karnataka issues or current affairs. I can guarantee you that you don't need any other sources to comfortably, deal with this particular section in your prelims. Is that okay? So you can keep it very simple. We'll also keep it very simple, organized. Keep it for your revision. Keep revising whatever we discuss in the class. And if you do that, 40 questions that will be asked from this particular section, you can manage it really well. Okay, keeping it very simple and organized is what is required, and that's what we will try to do also in this Sunday Manthan program. So the objective is to keep it free so that maximum number of meritorious students enter into the main stage, to at least put some kind of a level playing field for everybody. So what I have seen is a lot of meritorious students, those who are preparing for UPSC or those who are living in rural areas, etc. They don't know what to study, what not to study, or what are the sources, etc. Last 10 days, 15 days, whatever possible, they will read, and somehow or some difficult situation may not be able to clear. Okay, so we want to address that. We want to provide a level playing field so that everybody has a chance, especially those who are hardworking, meritorious, to enter into the service. National issues and the concept, the static topics, you have several sources. But Karnataka issues is so diverse, and there is lack of materials for all of that. So we intend to address that gap. All right. So in this Sunday Manthan that we will be conducting every Sunday, this will go on till hopefully when the prelims is going to be conducted this year within few months. Till then, we plan to do these classes. Okay, and this class is not just useful for your KPSC or KS gazetted exam, but any exam called by KPSC or by Karnataka government, you can address this. It is going to benefit you for those exams as well, whether it is PSI exams, whether it is Group B, Group C exams, PDO, whatever like that. All those exams ke liye, this is going to be very, very useful. Okay, so we plan to cover almost all the Karnataka issue topics in a very systematic manner. So let me give you what this class is mainly focusing on. It is to cover the 40 questions that is asked from Karnataka issues in paper 2 of KS exam. But as I told you, these will be also useful for other exams called for by the government of Karnataka. All right. So 40 questions from Karnataka issues from the prelims point of view. But it is going to also help you in your essay. Okay. If you see essay also, there are topics that is going to be asked from Karnataka. right? So essay topics can be addressed from this, and some of the facts, schemes, programs, etc. will be very useful for you to write examples or write good answers in your mains as well. Okay, so whatever you are going to write down now, okay, will be useful for the entire year, any exam that is going to be called for by Karnataka government, including your mains. Okay, and also in interviews, sometimes they have asked, factual questions on budget, on schemes and programs, etc. So that also will be addressed over here. But the focus will be mainly on the prelims, but it will be useful for others as well. All right, so that's the main objective of these classes. Okay, so this is a very serious class. Just because it is free doesn't mean that there is any compromise on the quality from our end. At the same time, I expect the same kind of seriousness from you all also. So it's a huge initiative. I mean, it's a huge responsibility from our end, but at the same time, I expect the same kind of responsibility from your end also. If somebody is here just to, experiment, see, etc., I would recommend you not to attend from next class. All of you who are really serious, continue to attend these classes. Is that okay? So that's a responsibility on you also. So what kind of responsibility you have is to make notes on these topics. Is that okay? We will not be providing as such a handout or books or materials on this, though we will be, having current affairs magazines, etc., which you can purchase, download, etc. But I would suggest all of you to keep about a 200 pages notes that will be useful for the entire 2024, any exam that you take. So this 200 pages, what you're going to write down will include the facts, names, schemes, programs, and that is what you have to keep revising till you write your prelims. So I expect you all to do that. Okay, about 200 pages of notes, or if you are writing in A4 sheets, that's also fine. You should have it like around 100 pages, 150 pages of solid notes for you to revise. That's going to be a game changer in your examination. Okay, because the clarity of thoughts and ideas that you're going to have if you revise, the clarity of the facts that you're going to have if you revise is going to help you clear the exam. I will put some previous year questions. You'll realize that most of the questions are facts, okay, fact-based, okay, which require you to revise, not read more, but to revise. See, unlike UPSC or conceptual topics, where you read once, you get clarity, you read from another source, you get a better clarity, okay, and somehow you can manage in the exam. But over here, since it's a factual questions that are going to be asked more from here, revision is the key. And if you have one solid notes for revision, it's going to be a game changer. So that's what I expect you all to do seriously. Okay, keep your revision notes, make notes in the class, write down as quickly as possible. Okay, you have to be very quick also. So as I told you, it's very serious class. Okay, because we have seen over a few years that this program is the most successful program that we ever run for prelims classes. Okay, for prelims phase. So therefore, make use of it. I would say you are lucky enough to having, get to know this program and attend them live. Okay, so make use of it by having these notes for your revision. And it will be covered in systematic manner, and we'll give you a lot of clarity as to how these data or what meaning you can take from these data. So the first class, what I'm going to do today is on budget. Okay, and in this budget, you have so many numbers. Okay, a lot of students get confused with these numbers. Now, I will try to give clarity to that number. You will find the difference when what I'm talking about. And then value addition. So for a particular topic, certain value addition content also will be provided in these classes. So therefore, your job is reduced by 50%, by 50% in the sense for making notes or collecting information. The 50% what you have to do is now to make notes and to revise them. Is that okay? So shall we start with the class? Is that okay? So as I told you, even though it is free class, okay, there is no compromise on quality from our end. I expect the same thing with you guys also. So from next class, we will try to give more questions and solve it. I expect you to be attentive in those areas also. While most of you might be attending other classes or might have completed in other institutions, etc. But over here, when you come for Sunday, you are our student. So we expect you to also behave the same way. Okay. So this is with respect to what we are going to do in this particular Sunday Manthan initiative. Okay, it's a festival of knowledge where you are going to gain knowledge on Karnataka issues, okay, and an initiative to promote merit. Okay, with that, let's just try and analyze the previous year questions, question paper or previous year exams, how the questions have been asked. Okay, so in the syllabus, if you see, 40 questions will be asked from Karnataka issue. Huge number it is. Okay, 80 marks will be from Karnataka issues. Okay, I have just broken down them into different topics to just give you an idea. You don't have to write all of these things. I'll tell you what are the things that are more important for you to write. If you see in the previous year, 2017, if you see around 40, I mean, the 3 plus or minus is because sometimes environment topics also I have added over here. Okay, environment topic relating to Karnataka. So probably that has increased the number of questions. But anyways, if you see here, I have divided them into these topics from Karnataka issues. General news, okay, news on certain things that is happening in Karnataka. All right, some new what do you say, places that is there in news, etc. That is separately mentioned here, places in news. Okay, awards and personalities. Okay, and then budget, important numbers and schemes from budget, exclusive schemes and programs from your economic survey, acts and policies. So if you see here, if you see the previous year, 2017 May, how many questions they had asked? Okay, from personality, 15 questions. Okay, very factual. I will show you some of the questions. Very factual questions. 15 questions on personalities and awards were asked from Karnataka itself. Okay, and then places in news, 3 questions. From budget, directly from the budget, the numbers, 3 questions were asked. About 10 questions were asked from schemes and programs. Consistently, schemes and programs, they keep asking. Okay, then they ask about acts and policies. So important acts, policies relating to the government of Karnataka also have been asked in the previous year. Okay, so this is somewhere to just give you a clarity, and this is how we will try to cover it in our classes also. So we will be covering budget first. Along with that, we will be also covering schemes and programs as well as acts and policies. Once we finish this, we'll start with the current affairs. Okay, personalities, a list of personalities that have been in news in 2023 and 2024, their contributions, if they have won any award, or if what is their what else is there about them that you need to know, a list of them. And also places in news in Karnataka, the reason for it and the significance of it, we will also discuss. And at the same time, some other news which does not fall into any of them, general news also, we'll be covering from 2023 and 2024. So they can ask, if the exam is held in the next 4 to 5 months, they will be asking you the same facts, etc. from 2023 also, from 2024 also, at least 1 year. Now, since it's being taught for you in the class, I'm sure all of you should be thorough with 2023 current affairs also. Whatever is important, still relevant, we will discuss those things. Okay, so this is how the marks have been distributed. If you see here, almost around 80 marks. Another static few topics you cover, national current affairs if you cover, around say you can clear prelims. Okay, and then you can start focusing on your mains. Okay, prelims is very easy to clear if you prepare in a very systematic manner. If you complicate your preparation, you are making it that difficult for you to clear your prelims. So if you cover these 40 questions, or if you are able to address these 40 questions, half your job is over for your prelims. With limited effort, maximum outcome. Okay, so that is the objective of this particular program. So let's have a look at previous year questions. I'm not going to solve them, but let's have a look at previous year questions to just give an idea as to how questions are asked. Okay, so previous year questions like this, general news. Name the cattle breed indigenous to Karnataka. Okay, so you have options, direct questions. Okay, similarly, I mean, see, though it can be asked even in geography, Karnataka geography also it can be asked, but they had asked it in current affairs because it was in news. Is that okay? So we had covered it in our magazine. So like that, we can expect questions, factual questions from our current affairs. Similarly, if you look at this, Karnataka government in 2019 ordered all schools to ensure that the weight of the school bags, okay, should be within certain limit. So what is that limit? They had asked. Is that okay? Similarly, places in news. For example, in 2018, second postman statue was erected in Belagavi. So they asked which is the first, and that first one was way back. So it's not that current affairs means only that year or that month. They can ask even previous. Okay, why that particular place was in news. Similarly, personalities, awards, etc. Recently released book was written by whom? Okay, so like that questions can be asked. Books, awards, etc. Over here, recently, deceased Kannada scholar and research launched a campaign to save monument of Hampi. So who was that? Deceased person, somebody who has got an award recently, or they named some place after that person, or some university after that person. So they can ask those personalities. Okay, then archaeologists from Karnataka got Padma Shri. Who is that? So Padma Shri awards or any other national awards received by Kannadiga will be asked in your examination. Again, all these are very easy to find. You can Google it up and then start making a list. But then it takes time. If somebody is able to provide those information to you quickly in a more organized manner, it becomes easier. So that's all is the intention. It's not like very difficult topics that you cannot do it otherwise. If you attend these classes or if you are able to focus here, the time that you save can be used for, let's say, CSAT or let's say on static topics, etc. Right? Similarly, from budget, look at this. So the budget speech may Chief Minister, okay, has announced to start a new tree park in name of whose, which social figure, okay, name of a tree park. Then similarly, they have asked very factual question as to how much money has been spent by the government or is going to be spent by the government. Look at this numbers: 505 crore, 500 crore, 650 crore. Okay, these two are fine. 500 and 505 crore. How can you be so specifically, asking such questions? But they do ask. All right. So the government of Karnataka has allocated work in whatever for this purpose. Similarly, budget size of the government of Karnataka. Okay, what is the total budget size? Okay, so numbers. Look at these numbers, right? So all are same: 153, 150, 200, 500. Yes, so it's all very challenging in that respect. So just by altering few numbers, they make it very difficult, okay, for the students. But I'll tell you how to address these as to the best of our ability later on. Similarly, 2019-20 Karnataka budget, okay, what percentage of allocation was made for rural development and Panchayati Raj? So that also was asked. Then schemes and programs, main objectives of a particular scheme. Okay, Raita Sarathi Yojana, what is the main objective of it? Similarly, Government of Karnataka launched a scheme to provide doorstep service. What is the name of the scheme? Okay, Karnataka government launched some scheme for nutritional need of pregnant and lactating mother. So what is that scheme? Like this, the questions are asked from schemes and programs. Now, acts and policies also have been asked, not just those which are in news, but also those which are important from administrative point of view, etc. See, for example, over here, the term of President of Municipal Council under the Karnataka Municipal Act 1964. So what is that? They can ask. Okay, now in today's class, for example, I will introduce you to one such law. You'll get an idea as to what information you need to remember from that particular act. Okay, so this is some previous year question. So if you see here, a lot of facts that are asked. Almost all questions are factual in nature. Okay, so how do we prepare for it? What is the approach towards trying to get maximum marks from this? So if you ask me, since it's a factual question, like if I ask you tables, what is 7 3s are, what is 8 9s are, right? Quickly you're going to tell. Is there any logic behind that? I mean, logic can be there. You add 8 9s are means you add 8 9 times. But you did not do that to get the answer. How did you get it? By memorizing. As simple as that. What did you do in first standard and second standard? All that you did was from morning to evening tell tables or ABCD or whatever. Is there any logic in all of that? No. If you ask me if I have to address factual information, is the best way to do it is through revising as many number of times as possible. I mean, there are other methods also. Mnemonics are there. You know, you have mnemonics saying that he came here, had a peda, then went there, went to his house, all that. But now I find it difficult because I have to by heart that story also. You know, and then if I get the story wrong, then the whole factual information also goes wrong. Okay, so that's a thing that you will have to decide how you would want to try and remember the facts. But if you ask me, the approach towards all of this is revision. Okay, so for revision, one material you should get yourself ready with. Okay, you should have one material ready. Okay, so this is what will help you in your prelims, especially over here, to try and remember those facts. That's what we'll also try to do over here also, that you will write down as many factual information as possible. Maybe when you read from other sources, you can add to it. But at the end, this material you should be reading about 20 times. And since it's current affairs, if writing exam after the 3 years, after next notification, it will be of no use. Okay, so that's how it is. These information are. It's only for this year. Any exam that you'll be writing for 2024, this will be useful for that. So revision with one material, and then try to solve questions. Okay, so when you solve questions, you're actively, trying to think about that particular topic. Then also you will, you'll be able to try and remember those information. And lastly, try to relate it with concepts. Try to relate it with concepts. Okay, interrelate the topics with your static subject. Now I'll show you with budget. Okay, when you link it with some conceptual topic that you would have done in your GS, there is a higher tendency for you to try and understand it. It makes sense, it makes kind of sense of those numbers. Why so much money is being given, or why so much tax is being collected from this particular source. It makes sense if you know the logic behind it. See, for example, the highest subsidy in Karnataka is given to energy sector. I'll show you the number later. Is that okay? Now, the logic that you have to apply is that there is problems with our energy sector. Large amount of subsidy is given for electricity, housing, and other things, especially now because of the schemes, etc. So if you are able to understand the concept behind it, right, you will be able to make sense of those numbers as well. And sometimes what will happen is, when these numbers are given, using that logic, you can at least rule out or eliminate incorrect numbers. And then you can guess as to this can be the answer. So to guess, okay, questions relating to facts, you need to relate it with concepts. It's a very important approach, is what I'm trying to say. If you link these facts with concepts, the numbers makes sense. When number makes sense, in your prelims, since there are 4 options, all right, you just have to bring out the correct answer, or you have to eliminate the wrong answer. If you relate these two concepts, you can do that much more easily. That's how I have, actually, this is the way through which I used to solve these factual questions. I'm very bad at trying and memorizing or remembering the facts. But I was also able to solve those questions because I used to link it with concept. It used to make sense. And then I would eliminate the wrong options. You should try it. It's some skill that you should develop. Is that okay? I will try to introduce to those things, but if you are able to incorporate it, it's very good. Is that okay? So concepts and interrelate the topics. You can make sense of the number. If you make sense of these numbers, then it will help you to rule out the option. See, prelims, no. As I told you in my introduction class, whichever prelims I have given, I have always cleared, whether it is UPSC or KPSC. The main reason was the skill of solving your MCQs, not just knowledge, but the skill of solving MCQs. Either you solve it by knowing them, or you solve it by knowing the incorrect options. Because the answers are already there. Out of 4, 1 is the answer, no? So you can use permutation, combination, or some other method to bring out the incorrect or correct option. So that's something which you have to learn. Okay, so by solving more questions, you will be able to get those skills. And it will help if you revise more. It will help if you relate it with concepts. Is that okay? So that's the main approach. Now, with respect to, again, Sunday Manthan, with respect to Karnataka issues, keep one notes, 200 pages, and write down all the facts that are going to be discussed in the class, all the points or whatever is relevant there, and keep revising them till your exam, whenever it is going to be held. Another 3 months, 4 months, 6 months, 8 months, right? The more you revise, the better you're going to get. Is that okay? So that's what is the best approach. All right. So as I told you, these are the topics that we will be covering. Karnataka budget, schemes and programs. We will be starting with these two today. Karnataka budget, some schemes which are there, we will discuss that. And later in the second half, we will be doing schemes and programs relating to women and child welfare. After that, some other day, we will be also doing acts and policies. Then later, general news, 2023, after that, 2024. While doing that, personalities, awards, a list of them, who are in news, as well as places in news. Again, let me reiterate that it is not just useful for your KS prelims, okay, but for other exams conducted by Karnataka government or any other body of Karnataka, okay, in this particular year. For UPSC, no, it's not useful for UPSC. Is that okay? But UPSC students who are preparing for KPSC, I think this is going to be a game changer for you also. All right, let me tell you all these things. Almost 5 of my team members are working towards this. Okay, 2 faculties, 3 faculties, and 2 content developers, so that we source information from several sources and try to give you these information. Okay, so that's the kind of credibility that I want you to realize that we have because of the same reason. So you can be less assured if you do this. Out of 40 questions, at least about 30 to 35 questions you can solve. Not 40. I will never guarantee 100%. That would be, miraculous if you can do that. But we don't do miracles here. But at least 30 to 35 questions comfortably. When you see that, you will realize, yes, thank you, Sunday Manthan, you will tell. Okay, because this is what students who have cleared earlier also have told the same thing. Okay, so we'll start with the first one, that is Karnataka budget. So before we start the class, a lot of students were asking about mains test series. So we'll be starting it on 1st March. Okay, the mains test series. For those who have been preparing for UPSC, those who have already finished with KPSC, or those who are in service, who are now planning to upgrade, or those who have already gone for interview, etc. For them, mains test series will be starting from the 1st of March, which will include 30 tests. Okay, 1st of March, 30 tests, which will include 16 half-length tests, 1.5 hours. Okay, and 14 full-length tests will include discussion, evaluation, value addition notes, etc. So there'll be 2 programs. One is called as the Gurukul program, which will include mentorship. The other one is just evaluation program, which will not include mentorship, which will include discussion, evaluation, and value addition. Since mentorship includes, one-to-one interaction, we'll be taking only limited number of people. So this is something to do with test series. If those who have completed your prelims preparation other than current affairs, and those who have already given your mains or in service or have given interview last time, for them also it will be very useful. Instead of waiting till the notification, you can keep it ready. About 6 to 7 months, you can give these mains test series and you can complete the entire mains before the prelims or before your actual mains period. That last 3-4 months period is there. Before that only you can cover off your syllabus. Okay. Anyways, yeah. So for those who are giving UPSC and those who want to get into KPSC alternatively as a group, as a plan B, for them there is also a program called as Mission Kadamba. So this is mainly KPSC for UPSC aspirants. So it's a bridge course. Since you would have already studied a lot of topics from UPSC point of view, a lot of things will be overlapping with KPSC also. So you don't have to study them separately, like ethics as an example. You would have studied for UPSC. You don't need to study it separately for KPSC. So there are other topics which are exclusively there in KPSC, like rural development, public administration, society, etc., which is not covered in your UPSC syllabus. So like that, there are 12 modules which are not covered in your UPSC. Okay, for those who are preparing for UPSC or have given 2 or 3 attempts in UPSC and now are taking a break and want to give KPSC very seriously, you can join Mission Kadamba. Okay, it's a program for UPSC aspirants who want to prepare for KPSC. It's just a bridge course covering only KPSC topics which are not covered in UPSC syllabus. So with that, we will start with our Karnataka budget 2024. All right, so in this particular section, Karnataka budget, let's try and remember some facts and data, because as you saw the previous year questions, right, a lot of facts, a lot of data is asked from the budget. So I have gone through the budget and I have selected few important information that can be asked in your examination. So we will write it down, make sense of it, try and understand what it is trying to say. So the facts and data we will be trying to cover. Okay, then some of the important schemes that is discussed or introduced or changed in the budget, we will go through them also, important schemes and policies that are announced in the budget. Okay, so data include the names of people or institutions that have been announced in the budget. We will make a note of all of that. So this is what we will try and cover in Karnataka budget. So I hope you are clear with the previous year question. You saw how questions are asked. So they have asked, factual question on names that have been mentioned in the budget. They have asked numbers with respect to the money that is being spent on a particular scheme, program, etc., or the money of the, or the total budget size they have asked. Similarly, they have also asked with respect to the percentage wise as to how much money have been spent and all of these things. All right, so let's try and make sense of all of that. So first thing is, let's break down the numbers of the budget. Some important ones. I'm not going to discuss everything, but some things which are important, you write it down, and then if you are able to revise more number of time, you will remember it. Okay, so first we'll go through the numbers. After that, we'll start with the schemes announced in the budget. I'll start with the agriculture schemes. Fair enough? All of you are with me? Yes? So we're starting with Karnataka budget. Adralli, we'll first try to get sense of the numbers. Then we will start with the schemes. That is the agriculture schemes we'll start with. What are the things that have been in the news? Online students, I hope you are clear. So let's break down the numbers of 2024-25 budget. Okay, so this is the first full-length budget of the present government. Yes or no? So previously, it was not a full length, it was part budget, okay, of the new government. So this is a full-length budget that the government has, our chief minister has tabled it. Okay, so before we go into these numbers, some concept that you should be clear. I don't know to what extent your concepts are clear. Let me just very briefly tell you all of that. If you need help, you can attend the economy class for that. But if you are clear with that, let me just very quickly talk about those things. So now in budget, right, you have receipts and expenditure, right, where the money comes from and where the money goes, right? So that is the expenditure. Correct? So receipt, you have revenue receipt and capital receipts. What is revenue receipt? Yes, what is revenue? These are all asked in paper 1 economy. Yes, section. What is revenue receipts? Anyway, see, these detailed conceptual things should be known to you by now because you're all aspirants of civil services exam. Okay, so just to recap all of that, what is revenue receipt? What is the definition of it? Government's own money, or in other words, something which does not increase liability or it should not reduce the assets. Correct? Something which does not reduce the asset, something which does not increase the liability is called as the revenue receipt. What is a capital receipt? Anything which either increases liability or anything which reduces the government asset is called as your capital receipt. What are the examples of revenue receipts? Yes. What are the examples of revenue receipt? Main source of revenue receipt is taxes. Yes. So tax is the main source of revenue receipt. And then you have non-tax revenue receipt also. Like you travel in Karnataka, KSRTC, okay, men, okay, now women at least they get it for free, but otherwise, so those are all non-tax revenue receipts. Yes, some toll you might be paying for Karnataka government or something like that. Those are all electricity bill. If you are paying to the Karnataka government, those are all non-tax receipts. Is that okay? Right? Taxes. In that also you have different taxes, mainly your commercial tax or now your GST is a main component of it. Then excise duty, etc. are also part of it. Is that okay? Then you have your capital receipts. Loan, for example, is the most important source. Loan. Right. Expenditure may also you have your revenue expenditure and you have your capital expenditure. Yes. So the money that the government gives on subsidies and various schemes or the salaries that they pay to the employees, all those are your revenue expenditure. Capital is, yes, how do you define capital expenditure? Yes, anything that creates assets or anything which reduces liability. Good. Okay, so those are the capital expenditure, right? So if the government is building a factory, building roads, those are all capital expenditure. Fine. So I hope these are all very clear to you. Wonderful to know that, right? So we'll move on then, right? So these are the numbers. Now we have to quickly write down all these numbers since the government or the KPSC is very keen on asking all of these. Yes. All right. So now receipts, correct? So revenue receipts, around 2,60,000. So keep it on the border, but even as you know, they might say 2,63,100, 150, 170, 177. So I don't know, but to what extent you can remember is up to you. All right. But at least to know that it is around 2,63,000 crores. Okay, 2,63,000 crores. So where does that money come from? State taxes. Okay, 1,89,000. Non-taxes, 13,500 crores approximately. Share of central taxes. So the center also has to give shares to the states. You know that the Finance Commission distributes the taxes. We'll come to that. Okay, and grant in aid. Again, from the central government. So this is the sources of revenue receipt. Quickly write down. Revenue receipt, total, state taxes, non-taxes. Is that okay? Yeah. 44. Correct only. 44,485. Okay. So this is the revenue receipt. Fine. The numbers are clear. Now with respect to the taxes, important taxes of the state government, the commercial tax or the GST, that's how it was in the budget. Okay, excise, yeah, on alcohol or on your petroleum products, motor vehicle tax, stamps and registration. Sorry. Yeah, so please write down this, online students. So we have seen, right, the state taxes, 1,89,000 crore is collected. So which are the important state taxes? These are the taxes, right? Commercial tax, excise, motor vehicle, stamps and registration. So otherly, if you want to see percentage, so if you see the GST, make sense of it. So 58% or more than 50%. Okay, a number you can remember. So one more way to remember it, convert it into percentage and visualize it, right, through graphs. So more than 50% is your commercial tax. Okay, state excise is around 20%. Next comes stamps and registration. Next comes motor vehicle taxes. So these are the revenue receipts. Is that okay, guys? Clear? Simple. Non-tax, as I told you, they're all your revenue that the government generates from general services and things like that. All right. Next is capital receipts. So capital receipts only, public debt itself is 1 lakh crores. Recovery of loans, as we discussed, debt is debt creating instrument. So capital receipts will have two things. One is debt creating, non-debt creating. Recovery of loan is non-debt creating. So it is reducing the, it's not reducing, it's not increasing the liability of the government. So public debt. If anybody needs clarity, you let me know, assuming that you are all comfortable with basic economics. Okay, and then other miscellaneous, sale of assets and things like that, around 37 crores. Contingency fund, 5 crore. Public account. What is public account? So where you have 3 accounts, na? Right? Consolidated fund, contingency, and public account also. So you have public account where government collects money as a custodian. Right? It's not government's own money. Right? Government is keeping them, like government also acts as a bank. It collects money, okay, from the public. Okay, so it belongs to the public. Government is just keeping it as a custodian, like your pensions or your provident fund. Yes, the provident fund, something like that, where government collects on behalf. So government has to give it back to the public whenever the public demands. So this is the overall, like how money is come. So that is revenue receipt and capital receipts. This is overall budget. Okay, budget receipts. Overall budget receipts. So again, if you try to see here, out of the total money that the government of Karnataka receives, how the money comes. So majority of the money comes from the taxes. Majority of the money comes from the taxes. Please write down that. How money comes. How money comes. Adharalli first one is state tax revenue. 52% is from the state taxes. Tax al baradillala. The whole graph. Yes. So because borrowings is here, see. Borrowings is capital receipts. So second source of money is borrowing. The second source of money, first source is taxes, whether it is GST, whether it is excise, stamps and registration, everything. Second source is 28% is coming from borrowings. So we borrow from the open market. Okay, we borrow from negotiable instruments from NABARD and other institutions. All right. So those are the things that I will tell you later. Then 12% is central government's share of Karnataka from the central pool. Now that's an issue, right? Now ella protest hogidwala, right? Against the central government. We will see that now. We'll analyze it. So that's why I told you, those are the value addition. This is there in your budget. But why did they go for protest? There are 3 reasons why they went for protest. We'll see that. Okay, for that, you know this. 12% of our money comes from share of central taxes. 4% comes from the grants. So this is the fourth source. Grant from central government. Under various schemes, programs, etc., we get grants. So what are grants and what are borrowings? Yes, they don't increase liability. Alva, grants don't increase liability. All right, and then last one, non-tax revenue. So that's the fifth. Percentage is clear. 52%, 28%, 12%, 4%. Write it down. Revise it some 20 times. You will also remember. Forget it after the exam. That's all. Next. Now, as I told you, the issue with respect to center and Karnataka government. Again, some number is important for you to write your essay. Let's say they can ask an essay with respect to federalism or financial federalism and the issue Karnataka government is facing. If you have to write an essay like that, you need data. If they ask a question of fiscal federalism, right, in your GS paper, you need some data. So what is that issue, right? So Karnataka contributes. This is as per the budget statement or speech that our chief minister has given, these numbers. Okay. So the Karnataka government contributes around 2 lakh crore in the form of GST and income tax. Income tax is collected by central government. GST, half of it is collected by the central government. But it is due to the effort of the states. Meaning we provide good infrastructure, we provide good education system, healthcare system. So a lot of economic activities is taking place in our state. Thus, we are able to generate a good amount of GST, good amount of income tax payers are in our state. So it is estimated around 2 lakh crores of revenue is generated to the central government by the Karnataka government. But if you look at this, right, the share that we are getting from the pool. So the Finance Commission, in polity you would have read, right? The Finance Commission is mandated to share the taxes that is collected by the central government. Okay, the ones which are shareable taxes, not every tax, shareable taxes, like the central taxes collected as a result of the state governments. So those taxes shall be shared with whom? The states. Okay, so I will be putting up this slide also. So the 15th Finance Commission, currently what we are implementing, 15th Finance Commission under the chairmanship of N.K. Singh. So 41% of the taxes will be given to the states. That is the vertical distribution. I hope all of you are aware of this. In economy, it will be taught to you. And then horizontal, that means between the states. I'll come to that. I'll put this slide later, but now you can write it down. So what did I tell you? That center is collecting so much money because of the Karnataka government. That is around 2.72 lakh crore. Out of which, but the center is giving in terms of percentage only 3.6%. If you see other states which are getting higher, UP and Bihar, UP gets 17% and Bihar gets 10%. This number you can remember. Even though prelims may, if they are not asked, means it is very useful. States like UP, Bihar get 17-10%, but states like Karnataka, which contributes very high, gets only 3%. Very good information for you to get that extra 1 or 2 marks in your mains. Prelims may also they can ask, what is the share of Karnataka in the divisible pool? This is from central government data only. Finance Commission website may, if you go, there is a table. It shows how much money. That number I have not written, only percentage. We are getting 3%, 17. But for Karnataka, the number is this much. 44. That number over there, it's matching now. Is that okay? 44,485. Okay, yeah. So previously we were getting more. I'll tell you again what is the issue in that also. Okay. Is this clear, guys? Yes. So the reason why we are getting this much share is because of the 15th Finance Commission recommendation. It has recommended that 41% of the total taxes shall be given to the states. That is a vertical distribution. Horizontal distribution, okay, there is weightage that is given, 12%, 12.5 for demography. This is very important data again. If not in paper 2, paper 1 may they will ask you, Finance Commission. Because it's in news, yes, so there is high chances they can ask this also. 45% to income, 15% to population, 15% to area, 10% to forest, ecology, 2.5% for tax and fiscal. So 16th Finance Commission also has been set up. It will be coming up with its report soon. I mean, like whose report will be applicable from 2026 to 2031. Yes. So what is the issue? One is decrease in the share. Why did that decrease happen? Population, right? So they took they are taking 2011 population, okay, census data, which obviously gives more to the more populous state in 2011. Is this done, guys? This is all there in your GS book also, right? So issue is, one is the GST issue. So whenever a question, you can elaborate this based on your general studies knowledge, but these are the pointers, that's all. So the GST issue, what it is, you'll have to read the GST compensation, delay in the payment, delay with respect to identification of this one, service sector may issues. There are so many issues with respect to GST, which you would have known in your GS, go through them. So the GST issues, okay. So that also has affected states like Karnataka, right? Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu. We are all manufacturing states or economically more productive state. So we are actually losing out a lot because of GST. One of the reason also is it's a destination based tax. So that also affects. We are more a manufacturing or producer states. Okay, there are other more populous means more consumption. More populous states are more consuming state. More consuming state means they'll get more tax. Look at the irony in that, right? So then there was this GST compensation also, but you have seen, I think you might have read also, because of COVID, economic slowdown, there has been delay in that also. So those are all issues, specific points, facts you have to write down. This is just a pointer to link it with your GS. Next, change in the calculating of the income of the state also, right? Then use of 2011 census, as you guys said. I mean, this second point I'll have to do it a little bit in detail, the way in which income is calculated, but for you, write it down now and link it with your economy. Then another issue is cess and surcharge. The government is not increasing the taxes, GST or otherwise, but they are increasing cess and surcharge because cess surcharge is not shared. I hope you know what is cess surcharge, link it with your GS. State has suffered. This is what the chief minister in one of his speech has mentioned. So you can use that, quote them. The chief minister of the state has said that the state has suffered 45,000 crore because of in the last 7 years because of not sharing cess and surcharge. And also in the name of reforms, the government has reduced the schemes and programs and in turn the grants given through various schemes, centrally sponsored, etc., also has reduced. The amount of money that is coming through that also has reduced. Okay, so these are the issues. So this is a mains point of view, essay point of view, which you can keep in mind, elaborate each of them on one page. If it is an essay, you might have to write. Okay, na? So this is with respect to receipts. Very few numbers I have given, all right, which you should be able to remember. Next is expenditure. Total expenditure 3,71 crore. So if the budget expenditure is asked or the total budget is asked, this is what it is: 3,71,383 crores. This is the money that the government is going to spend. And what are we going to spend it on? On revenue expenditure, 2,90,000. Capital, 55. Which one is good? Revenue or capital? Yes, because it is creating assets. Okay. Then loan repayment, that is loan servicing, etc., 24,000 crores. Then public account expenditure is that whatever money we take, we have to give also, no? The public account, what I have discussed earlier, right? So that's not government's own money. So government is estimated to spend on public expenditure up to 6,20,000 crores. So these are the expenditure numbers. Done? Now, the graph. Okay, so where overall expenditure this is, and this is sector-wise expenditure. Two graphs, both are important. Is that okay? This is overall expenditure, both revenue as well as capital expenditure, both. So let's see the numbers. Where the rupee goes, where the money goes. Give the heading, where the money goes. So maximum expenditure, if you look at this, but again, it depends on the information or the option that is given. See, if you look at the expenditure on economic services, agriculture 14% and other services 15%. So totally on economic services, 29% of money is spent. Okay. I mean, if you're getting confused, leave it. But I'm just trying to tell you that debt servicing, even though it is 18%, if a question is asked on economic services, how much it is, total is 29, out of which agriculture, rural development services, 14%, and 15% is spent on Other economic services. Okay, social welfare, SC, ST, OBCs, 15%. Okay, debt services, the loans that we have given, we have to pay interest. So that is 18%. Other general services like administrative costs, yes, services that we are providing to the public, that is general services. Rural development, agriculture, irrigation, 14%. Education, 11%. Health, 4%. Other social services other than health and education, 3%. Water supply, sanitation, 3%. This is with respect to the overall expenditure of the government. Important data will be asked in the exam. Where the money goes. 1, debt servicing. 2, other general service. 3. This is increasing, decreasing order. Now, like the way they had asked last time with respect to which sector they had asked, this one, rural development. Yeah, so if the question like that is asked, shall I move on? Okay, total sector, if you go by sector wise, okay, maximum goes to education. Okay, 12%. Then women and child development. Then energy, panchayat and rural development, 5%. That's what they had asked last time. Home and transport, irrigation, urban and housing, okay, revenue, health and family welfare, social welfare, public works, food and civil supplies, agriculture, horticulture, animal husbandry, okay, and fisheries and others. See, again, if you look at the analysis of it, like, you know, how do you try and remember mnemonics, all that? Again, I don't find that to be easier for me personally, but otherwise, if I look at it, see, we have, free primary education, midday meal schemes are there. So a lot of children are there. So therefore, probably education is the highest because again, education is funded by the state. So all those Samagra Shiksha Abhiyan mein or free education mein, etc., money is being spent over here. Even though it comes from the state, who is spending it? Again, it is the state government. Though we get it as centrally sponsored schemes under which we are getting it as a receipt, but expenditure is shown in Karnataka governments. So education. Then women, child development, etc. So various health schemes and, with respect to pregnancy, with respect to childbirth, with respect to immunization, all of these. Again, who runs the hospitals? Who runs PHCs? Again, it is so if you see, these two are the most important rural area, the most present government system is education and health. Everybody is benefiting from that. Not a single person is not being benefited. Every child is benefited from that. Therefore, I can think like that. Yes, if I have to logically arrange it, education first, then comes women and child, then energy, free, electricity, etc. is being provided for general public, for the farmers, etc. And if you go on thinking about it, you can see it. Okay. See why I am stressing on writing notes is because that's what is going to help you a lot. You take a printout, you keep it in your house. It's always going to be there, and then you're going to give it to your juniors that this is what I did. Is that okay? It is not going to help. But when you write down here, this 4 hours of every weekly exercise, half your job is done. Again, you don't have to make notes. Again, you don't have to write it. Again, you don't have to go home and see the slides and make note of it. Be attentive, push yourself in this 4 hours, half your job is done. And not only in prelims, again, if you see all the Group B, Group C exams, you find questions from here only. Very simple. Sources are very simple. Okay, KPSC also doesn't put a lot of effort to try and find very good questions. They just see the standard documents that are there and they ask questions from that. They just try to make it difficult by changing 150 to 155. That's all. Is that okay? So you have to address the demand, be smart and know what is expected from you also. All right. So this is with respect to the receipt and expenditure. If you have so much data, I would feel that it would be enough. It's something to be comfortable with. Okay. Beyond this, it becomes too much to remember. Okay. Fine. Fair enough. Okay. So the other thing that we need to know from our budget. So the first thing is with respect to the expenditure and the receipts that we have already covered. The next one is the fiscal indicators. Very important. Even if it is not asked in prelims, important from your mains point of view. The fiscal indicator to how is our economy performing? Okay, so for understanding the performance of our economy, we have certain indicators, whether it is growth indicators, our state income, or whether it is the fiscal indicators. This will help us to determine how our state is performing economically. So if you have to write answers in your mains, if you have to write an essay, it will help you to, this data will help you. Okay, so that is the second thing that we are going to discuss in our budget. The third thing is the schemes, programs, and other things. So we will finish the first one, that is the expenditure and the receipts. Is that okay? I had to tell you in the beginning, budget has three things. One is the receipt and expenditure, that we finished. Second is the fiscal indicators. Okay, and the third thing is schemes and programs mentioned in the budget. If you do these three things, Karnataka budget, 4 to 5 questions, aram se you can get 2 classes, you are done. All right, fiscal indicators. Again, basics, I hope all of you are aware of. So the indicators that we use both at the center as well as the state is budget deficit, revenue deficit, fiscal deficit, and primary deficit. What is budget deficit? Yes, these are all asked in paper 1. Very simple question, very oftenly asked. Yeah, total expenditure minus total receipt. Total receipt. Okay. Next is revenue deficit. What is revenue deficit? Revenue expenditure minus revenue receipt. Simple. Okay. What is fiscal deficit? What is fiscal deficit? Total expenditure minus, I'll put it here, fiscal deficit equals total expenditure minus revenue. I mean, there are different formula. I'll put mine. Maybe you have it different ways. Revenue receipts plus non-debt creating capital receipt. Right? Whatever is your formula. Otherwise, also you can say that total receipt minus the debt creating. That also is fine. Is this clear? Correct? Yes. If you don't know, revise the GS economy part. That's all. Primary deficit, fiscal deficit minus, very good, minus interest payment. Effective revenue deficit also is there, but that is not mentioned in Karnataka budget, so it's okay. Clear, all of you? No doubts? Very important topic in your basic economy. Primary deficit will help us to understand our liability without the interest payments. The present economic situation, because it does not take into account the interest payment being paid for the loans that we have taken in the past. That's why we see primary deficit. Fiscal deficit, okay, is total expenditure minus the money which is our own. Which is our own? Revenue receipt and non-debt creating capital receipts. So now that definition, everything is clear. So now let's see. So you have the total value and with respect to GSDP, GDP of the state. What is GDP? That all basics you should be knowing. In case if you don't know, revise your economy. GDP, or generally it is measuring the output of the economy. It is measuring the output. For those who are not aware of it, gross domestic product, meaning how much are we as an economy, Karnataka economy is producing, output of our economy. Like we have individuals have salaries. What is my output? I earn 50,000 per month. That is my output. Same way, what is the output of Karnataka economy? 28 lakh crores. That is the GDP of our state. Is that okay? Please write down that. GSDP, gross state domestic product of the state, is 28 lakh crore. But you should, one thing you have to remember, all these are estimates. The present budget's estimate 2024-25, it can be only an estimate. What real data we have is of 2022-23. 23-24 we have revised estimate. Is that okay? Estimate this is. We don't know how much are we going to spend in the future. It's an estimate. Okay, after 2 years, we'll get the actual figure. But anyways, these are good enough. Is that okay, guys? Right. So how much is our output? 28 lakh crores. So we calculate the fiscal deficit or revenue deficit in terms of GSDP. So percentage wise, revenue deficit is 0.97% of GSDP. In terms of actual value, it is 27,000 crore. That means our deficit, revenue deficit, we are spending more in revenue account by 27,000 crore. That means our expenditure in revenue account, meaning our salaries, etc., we are paying more than what we are actually earning in terms of tax. By how much? 27. Number is important. Write down. Okay. Revenue deficit. This is the actual number. This is in percentage of GST. In percentage of GST. Is that okay? Very important number. Not from alone from prelims point of view. Mains also. Okay. Then fiscal deficit. Real number is 82,980,000 crore. Is the fiscal deficit. So in terms of percentage, it is 2.95% of the GST. GSDP is so much, other percentage is so much. Similarly, primary deficit number is 43,000 crores. Deficit is 1.56. So you have to also remember that this budget is a revenue deficit. Previous budget was not like that. This budget is. Okay, revenue deficit budget. It's a revenue deficit budget. Now, further analysis. See, when you're writing mains, you can always write close to the number. You don't have to write it. Prelims may these numbers may be asked. As I told you, 357, 353, 350, it can be asked. Is that okay? But from mains point of view, you can be around the sun. You can always say 27,000. Okay, 82,000 or 83,000. You can round it off, not a problem. It's a revenue deficit budget. Please write down that also. It's a revenue deficit budget. They can ask statement based also. If somebody smart person is making the question paper, maybe he will put a little bit effort to read the budget and make these statements. Okay, right. Then this is important. So now you might have all read in national economy or India economy, FRBM Act, Fiscal Responsibility and Budgetary Management Act. Yes, like that we also have a state act. If you didn't know, we have Karnataka Fiscal Responsibility Act 2002. Is that okay? Please write down this. We have a Act 2002. So there is a target. FRBM Act target, you read it at home. Is that okay? There also revenue deficit should be so much, that all that is there. So here also, see, fiscal deficit should not exceed 3% by 2006. By 2006. Revenue deficit should be brought down to 0 by 2006. And total liability should not exceed 25% by 2050. Important data, please write down. And it also says the law, if you read it, it's a 10-page law, you can read it when you have time. It says that you can deviate when there is national security and calamity. And hence we deviated when COVID times may. Is that okay? So we did not achieve these targets. And therefore, what did we do? And what does central government also do? We amend it. When we can't achieve the targets, we amend it. Don't do that for your preparation. That's all. Right. So this is the target. So it was amended in the year 2022. Post-COVID, it was amended. So that is why this budget we had more flexibility, since we can miss the targets. And hence, the Chief Minister said that we are going to miss the target, exceed the revenue, this one. See, revenue deficit can be missed, and therefore we have attained, or we have our budget this time is a deficit budget, because the amendment which was done in 2022, please write down, okay, the target for this fiscal deficit should not exceed 3.5%. So have we exceeded that? No. See, we are within the fiscal deficit limit. Is that okay? We are within the fiscal deficit limit. If you see newspaper, no, like Economic Times and all of that, those analysis will be there. Even after Karnataka budget, they had analyzed it. If you see there, they'll say that yes, even though it is a revenue deficit budget, our fiscal plan or fiscal deficit is within the targeted limit of 2.9. Target is 3.5. See, if you don't know the basics, these numbers will be all flying above your head, and that doesn't make sense. But if you know the basics, if you are able to relate the topic, it becomes interesting. Yes. Oh, our Karnataka government is doing this. This is what is happening. See, revenue deficit is, it is incurring because it is spending on revenue expenditure like subsidies and those schemes, etc. These are revenue expenditures. For now, for the time being, the chief minister or the finance department is okay with that because it's only temporary to meet the economic challenges that we are facing. Inflation, unemployment, and other things. So in your essay also, do you think you can justify or your mains? Yes, because it's only for a temporary reason that we are doing that. But fiscal, which is a long-term may, what we are planning, yes, it is on track. So long run may, yes, we are more comfortable. Our economy is much more stable in that way. Total liabilities can increase more than 25%. Is that okay? So this is one data that you should be able to remember. And yeah, so one more thing is with respect to the other indicators is GSDP. Okay, so GSDP, and then in turn, using the GSDP, what do? We calculate the growth. What do you mean by growth? Economic growth. When the income increases over a period of time, that's growth. Yes, when you compare it with the base year. In India, currently the base year is 11-12. So compared to that base year, what is the growth? Again, we only have estimate of the 2022-23. Okay, so the GSDP is so much. That means the total output of the economy is so much. That is 28,000 crores. So as per the estimate, now using that GSDP, comparing it to 2011-12, what is the growth that we have attained? 7%. Sorry, 7.9, whereas India's is 7%. India's is 7%. Ours is above national average, which is 7.9%. This is the growth rate, GDP of India, GSDP of the state. Then in terms of nominal GSDP means what? I mean, nominal growth rate means when you do not take into account inflation. Okay, the current price. So GSDP of Karnataka is 14.2%, otherwise it's 15.4. These numbers are also important for your essay and other things. Okay, so that completes the fiscal data and all of that. Important. Okay, how our economy is performing. Two indicators. One is the fiscal indicators. The other one is the growth indicators. Growth and GDP indicators. GDP, GSDP, okay, GNP, all those things you have to read in your GS. Okay? Right. Other some minor information that you can write down. Subsidy data. Subsidy data. Both prelims as well as mains point of view, subsidy data. So if you see, the largest total subsidy is 47,000 crores. 47, almost 50% of it is going to energy sector. Big problem in Karnataka, energy sector. In your GS mains, in one chapter, I was doing that energy sector problem of Karnataka. We are net importers of energy. It costs a lot for us. Electricity we buy from other states. So anything that we do towards this sector is still not enough. Like whether it is solar and see, we have very limited resources now. That's why hydroelectric is already full and it is too ecologically and capital intensive. Then solar is being tried, but again, has its limitations also. Though we have second biggest solar park in the world, still it is very minute with respect to how much we consume. Next, food and civil supplies, the various, Anna Bhagya things, all those, right? Transport now has increased. Yes, 5,900 crore. That is, then there are other list also. I just put the last one. Environment, Papa gets only 1 crore subsidy. All the seedlings, etc. you get, no? When you go to nursery to plant trees, that only gets 1 crore. Just for your FYI, environment gets 1. There are more list. I decided top 3 we'll put. That's all. Next, investments. Investments, just to give you an idea, where do we invest? Where does Karnataka government invest? Maximum investment goes to government companies. So we invest in the shares or invest in government companies. Other investments, we also invest in statutory corporations, joint stock companies, cooperative societies also. There are numbers. I thought it's not so meaningful. So you can just make note of it. Like, where do we invest money? We invest in mainly government companies. Maximum goes to this. In order, next comes statutory, then joint, then cooperative society. Is that okay, guys? Right. Some other data. How much money do we give to local bodies? I'm sure they might ask this also. Okay, for Panchayati Raj in the budget 2024-25, how much money is given? Okay, for Panchayati Raj, 58,770 crore, 772 crore, 800 crore, 850 crores. Options, right? I mean, I wanted to frame questions on this, but it's like too, obvious. So could not frame any, I didn't think it would be useful to frame any question. But anyways, towards the end, when we give you a test, I will incorporate these data. Okay. So this number also can be asked. Then the loans. Okay. So total debt is 5 lakh crores. Out of which open market loan is 4 lakh. Then from various institutions like LIC, NABARD, around 15,000 crore. From Government of India, we have borrowed 28,000 crores. And using the public account, liability which we have borne is 1,41,422 crores. Again, numbers, but appreciate where the money is coming from. Loans may. Maximum loan is coming from the open market, not from Government of India. Atara, if they ask a question, if a tricky question, analytical question with respect to Karnataka government in the recent budget, majority of the loan is coming from 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, or not 4, 1, 2, 3 or something else like that. So it's an open market. Yes. So this is with respect to some important numbers that you should remember from the budget point of view. I hope it was useful. Yes. You can see the documents, etc. Now it might make more sense now that we have discussed it. So if you revise this, 3 pages, 4 pages, keep revising it till your exam, you'll be able to remember it. Not so difficult. And as soon as you see 3, 4 questions, confidence, happiness, joy, blessings will come. Right? Okay. So shall we move on then? Right. So we'll start with the second part or third part of it, that is sector wise. Let's try to break down the budget and its important initiatives that have been announced in the budget. Even if you see the budget programs, etc., you will get it. It's not that difficult. Numbers, the churmuri is very difficult to understand, organize it. Now that I have organized it in a more systematic manner, remembering them is not that difficult. Okay. We'll start with the first one, that is agriculture. So here only those which are there in the budget. Later part, when we do schemes and programs from the ministry, from economic survey, we are compiling. Is that okay? We'll go to the government websites, ministry websites. We will see the important schemes. Economic survey, we will see the scheme. We'll do the class later for that. This is only those which have been mentioned in the budget. More chances that they will be linked and asked in your exam. Okay. So the first thing is Karnataka Raita Samruddhi. So basically, here there's no number. You can write down first one. So sector wise, first heading agriculture. Under that, this is it. Karnataka Raita Samruddhi. So basically, government has a habit of doing this. Okay, they will have one big scheme. They will divide it into smaller schemes. The next government will come and say that, no, we need to have a uniform scheme, and they will once again combine all of them. You might have noticed that. Correct? No. So initially you had one scheme. So government said, no, we need to target specific sectors. So horticulture ke liye separate, agriculture ke liye separate, fisheries ke liye separate. Now the government is doing is, let's combine everything together and have one samagra scheme. Next, After a few years, new government will come. What to do? What new can they do? They have to give the same thing subsidy. They're giving, ponds they're building, they're doing that. What else? Name they have to change. Na? So then what they have done? It's a comprehensive scheme. Okay, what have they done? Combining agriculture, animal husbandry, horticulture, dairy farming, everything into one scheme. So that there is an integrated approach to help the farmers. After a few years, they'll say, no, we need specific schemes so we can target specific sector in agriculture. So anyways, that is for later part. Now, this is what I have realized, 10, 12 years in this preparation. I have seen it keep happening, both at center and state. Nobody is, tomorrow when you become policy maker, you'll also be like in pressure, do something. What will you do? You'll combine everything together or you'll split everything. Anyways, so jokes apart, this is what it is. It's a comprehensive scheme for agriculture, everything. So various schemes in various departments now will be consolidated into one specific scheme. Okay. Agriculture, animal husbandry, horticulture. No facts here, general understanding. To promote stable income, okay, then there is crop-based soil character and market demand. Based on that, farmers will be advised or given information as to what they are supposed to grow based on the market demand, based on the soil. Okay. Also, they will be advised of the various new agriculture technology. Okay. And promoting integrated farming. So with the limited resources, same thing can be grown. Like animal husbandry can in turn benefit farming. Farming, the residues that are coming out can be used for that. Like that, combine the different areas of agriculture to provide an integrated farming approach. As such, the name is something which you have to remember. All this is obvious. So you don't have to worry about trying and by hearting that. Yes, Karnataka Raita Samruddhi - comprehensive scheme for all agrarian activities. That is one line you have to write. If you have written others, it's okay. But all I'm saying is that one line is enough for you to understand. This is Karnataka Raita Samruddhi. All right. Next. So an agriculture development authority will be set up with the head as chief minister. Okay, question can be that only. Who is going to head this one? Chief minister, agriculture minister, revenue minister, or secretary to agriculture department. Simple. Okay, chief minister. What is this? Again, coordination. It will be like a nodal authority for agriculture development in the state. Useful for rural development in GS. Useful for agricultural policy in GS. Everywhere you can write. So it's a nodal authority now that is set up in state for coordinating various agricultural activity under various departments or under various schemes. Effective implementation of policy relating to agriculture allied activity. Promote better coordination between different departments. Headed by CM. See, now further details as to what is the composition, who is the other members, what are their rules, other things are not clear. This will come in current affairs. Is that okay? After a few months, 4 or 5 months, the government will come up with a notification coming up with agriculture department authority. Who is the members? Is there any expert members? Who all are the ex officio members? Chief minister is now there. Who are the other members? All that will come in current affairs. We don't know the details yet. Keep a track of it. When it comes in our magazine or website or newspaper, you make a note of it. But then you'll be relating, yes, we discussed this. Is that okay? Next, Krishi Bhagya Yojana, this was stopped. It was restarted by the present government. Okay? It was restarted by the present government. Krishi Bhagya Yojana. I think in 2019 or something like that, it was stopped. Last year, it restarted again because it was Siddaramaya's times program. Once again, it was started. So basically, you know it, dry land farming. Very simple with respect to dry land farming, which was a recent scheme announced in the budget. A, B, C, D. Yes, Krishi Bhagya Yojana. If you see the picture over there, one example, ponds with polythene covers, so that storage of water can be done during rainy season, which can be used during the drought or lean period, during the lean period. You should also be aware of the data that Karnataka only 30% of land is irrigated. 70% of the land is rain-fed. It's the same data with central also, national level also. Only 33% is irrigated. The rest is rain-fed. Please make note of that also. 70% of farm agriculture in Karnataka is rain-fed, meaning they're dependent on monsoon. So this is for dry land farming, reintroduced last year in 106 taluk, especially the more drought-prone districts. In geography, Karnataka geography, Syed sir will introduce you to all those drought-affected regions. How do you measure it, all of that. But anyway, so 106 taluk in 24 districts. All right. So mainly focusing on irrigation and rainwater conservation. Again, irrigation is not major irrigation projects. It is farm level irrigation projects like establishing farm ponds, poly houses, polythene sheets, etc. so that evaporation is reduced. So you might have seen pictures also where they cover the farm with polythene sheets so that evaporation is reduced and moisture retention is increased. Is that okay? Also associated with that is high-tech harvest hub ante, where they will be providing machineries under Krishi Yantra Dare. So under this scheme. So high-tech harvest will be set up in these taluks, 100 locations first it will be established, where high-tech farm machines will be provided for the farmers. Okay. Support will be through this scheme. Okay, these are for rental. Okay, rental machineries. All these names which are in red are very important. High-tech harvest hub, Krishi Yantra Dhare. So you have seen the previous year questions. They have asked that. Simple. Okay, so first one was this scheme, then authority, then Krishi Bhagya Yojana for dry land farming. Mains may, if you have to add just the red ones, you can write. How does this benefit? Increase productivity, introduction of new technology. See, because schemes, facts become so boring for me to teach also. So I always try to link it with mains so that it becomes more interesting, right? Sustainable agriculture, water management, high value, and so why I have written this slide, it's not only for Krishi Bhagya. Any scheme relating to agriculture, you can use these points when you don't know. Remember, I promised I'll tell you how to cook up answers. This is one way. Anything on agriculture, how to promote agriculture, what the government plans to do, you can write this. Tomorrow, once you become administrators also, you can use this slide to write the objective of the policy you're going to frame. Okay. So mainly rain-fed or to promote sustainable agriculture, water management, sustainable agricultural practice, to ensure, protection to the farmers against scarcity of rain. So this is Krishi Bhagya Yojana. Okay. Small other minor schemes. So the details will come when the government comes up with a detailed cabinet meeting will be held, and then they'll come up with the details of it. Then the agriculture department, the secretaries, the officers, you guys in the future will come up with the details of all of that. That's how it is. So community seed bank to promote local seeds. Write down that. Community seed bank to what? Local seeds, not biotechnology seeds or hybrid seeds. No, local variety seeds. That's where the mistake happens. Stress on that. Local variety seeds, for which community seed bank. Because now what is happening, because of most of the seeds are being distributed by the private companies. They are all hybrids variety seeds, and few biotechnology. I mean, BT seeds are very limited, but otherwise, hybrid variety of seeds are the most common ones. So the indigenous ones, why is it supposed to be promoted? All that you write in your mains. SMA agriculture topic is asked, you write that. Because these indigenous variety of seeds are more drought resistant, are more nutrient rich, promote biodiversity, require less input, they are more sustainable, etc., etc. That's why it has to be promoted. That's your mains answer. But prelims mein, the name that you have to remember, this becomes your revision notes even for your mains. The story that I told now, you should be able to write. But the facts will not come to you. Community seed bank, underline that word, put it in a box. Examiner is impressed, you get that extra 1 mark. Next, Namma millet. This is for processing of millet and selling it in the market to promote exports also and retail of millets. Correct? Now today, I mean, we celebrated millet year, we celebrate millet, in G20 also, right? So millet has now become, an initiative to promote sustainable agriculture, to promote nutrition, right? And at the same time, sustainable agriculture and employment. Adalla story, you know it. Now we need a fact. Namma millet. Is that okay? So processed millet, value-added millets. Okay, from various like powders, porridge, cornflakes or millet flakes. So many tasty products are being prepared. Okay, and it is with PPP, public-private partnership, where technology companies, agri-tech as well as retail chains will be supporting them. All right. Next, RK Shala Agriculture Farm will be set up in Bangalore. Where is going to be set up? Bangalore, Mysore, Mandya, whatever. So here it is in Bangalore. It will be a knowledge center to disseminate information to the farmers. It's going to act as a knowledge hub. Whether it's with respect to technology, agricultural practices, this will disseminate the information. Where is it going to be set up? Bengaluru in PPP mode. Then there is a software that was developed, ESAP software, for control of pests and diseases and soil nutrients. It was by which institution? University of Agricultural Science, Raichur. Remember that. So it was started as a pilot project, was successful. So spread to other universities. Now in the budget, they have decided to use this software to help the farmers. So they are going to use multimedia solution, okay, using mobile as well as cloud-based technology to disseminate the information. Write down. Okay. Then this proposal, a committee will be set up to study the feasibility of setting up of agriculture university where in Mandya. Okay, VC Farm, Mandya. There's a proposal to start an agriculture university. So the government has announced that it will be setting up a committee soon. So in the future, when it is set up, who is it? Okay, what is their agenda, etc. You can read it. And when it will start, all those things, you can read it further. Community Seed Bank, Namma Millet, RK Shala Agriculture Farm, ESAP software, VC Farm, Mandya. Is that okay? So these are something to do with specific to agriculture, right? Next, food processing. Food processing. So there is a directorate that is going to be set up called as a food processing directorate. So food processing currently is in various departments. Okay, so all of them will be combined into this. Under the agriculture department, a directorate will be set up called as a food processing directorate. So the objective is food processing, overall everything to do with it. Reduce wastage, increase. This is the benefit of food processing, Alva. So the story, you know it. Why is food processing important? It will reduce wastage. It will increase the shelf life. It will promote export, more choices for the consumers, right? More prices for the farmers, direct farmers to retail connection, employment, rural development, all that story you know. But the fact is food processing directorate. Just limited number of facts, beautiful answers you can write. Next, so there was this corporation for food processing called as the Karnataka State Agriculture Food Processing and Export Corporation that is planned to be strengthened. Probably I should have seen the website of this and given you where it is located, all of that. Probably you can go home and do that. Just Google this Karnataka State Agricultural Products Processing and Export Corporation. Where is, what are the little bit detail, because it's in news. You should have done, I mean, I should have done that, but now you can do that. You get the idea. So that should be strengthened. So tomorrow when you become KS officers, AC and all, you will be posted here. If you are politically less connected, your postings will be in all these kind of corporations. Very unlikely, a lot of people will be doing AC posting. AC will be the name, but you will be posted elsewhere. Very few politically connected will be getting the opportunity to actually be on the ground AC. Next, food parks will be set up near airport in PPP. I might be wrong in pronouncing it. Please excuse me. Sogane in Shimoga, Ittangihalla in Vijaypura, and Pujanahalli in Bengaluru. I read it a couple of times, hoping I would not do a mistake, but I hope I'm somewhere close by. These names are important again, right? Match the following or something like that. Ashtala kashta padtare, they just ask direct only. Again, match the following, you have to find one more option. No? Done? Food processing. Next, horticulture. So this idea is very nice. Look at this first point. So they're going to promote carbon sequestered horticulture crop. What do you mean by carbon sequestering? Yes, storage of carbon. Alva. So in environment, you would have studied that cropping pattern can increase global greenhouse gases. At the same time, if you do a sustainable agricultural practices, they can actually absorb the greenhouse gases and can act as a storehouse. And these horticulture is in that direction better because unlike your paddy, wheat, etc., stubble burning, what is happening there? So these are all seasonal crops, but plantation crops are, some of the they are long term. So if you say plantation crops, etc., coconut trees and things like coffee, etc., where you are growing, also agroforestry is being done. So these can act as a storehouse of greenhouse gases. Correct? No. So unlike your paddy, which is one of the largest emitters of greenhouse gases, alternatively sustainable agriculture, yes, can be promoted through these kind of practice. So over here, there is an initiative to use this to actually make money, not by selling crops, but by selling carbon credit. What is carbon credit? So you have international mechanism to put cap on the amount of greenhouse gas that is going to be emitted. So if they emit more than that, these institutions, they have to buy carbon credits. Yes. So they're exploring that also. They can go to the UNFCCC and then get this, registered under that scheme. And then farmers can sell the carbon credit and get alternative source of income. Look at such beautiful initiatives. Okay. Next, Spice Park. Where is it going to be set up? Chikmagaluru district. Okay, PPP to promote export of spices. Next, College of Horticulture will be set up in Vijaypura. Okay. Then Kisan malls will be set up for horticulture related technical guidance. Just malls where market connectivity information, farming implements, agro products, all of this will be provided to them. And international floriculture. So Bengaluru is very famous for flowers, export of flowers, one of the largest exporters of flowers. Okay, so to promote, we already have an international floriculture exhibition. I mean, this one, exchange in Bangalore. If you see in the airport road, you have a floriculture exchange. So this is a floriculture market. So exchange is like how you have share markets, how you have spice market exchange. Same way, we have a floriculture exchange in Bengaluru already set up. Okay, but this is in addition to that, an international floriculture market will be set up under PPP in Bengaluru. It's very challenging to do these schemes and numbers, etc., because it gets boring from both point of view, from teaching also, from learning also. I'm just trying to interact and discuss to keep it as interesting as possible. If you are attending online, it would have been easy to run away, but now you are compelled to sit. Okay, hopefully it's not that of a problem, but let me tell you, if you go through this very easily, you can address all these schemes and programs. I can guarantee you that. Next. Okay. The government also has proposed to come up with, research to prevent fatal disease to arecanut crop. And some of the fatal disease of arecanut crops I have just mentioned. This is addition to what is there in your budget. You can write down. So the Chief Minister announced that research will be done to reduce the diseases to arecanut. So the most important diseases among the arecanut, if at all they ask, that kind of question. So fungal diseases and phytoplasma disease. Leaf lopper is one of like a grasshopper it is. And phytoplasm is a type of a parasite. The other three are fungus. Quick wilt disease, fruit rot, leaf blight, and yellow leaf disease. Just you can understand it wilt affects the leaves. Leaves become yellow. It falls down. Tree die. I mean the plant productivity reduces. It does not produce crops, and it dies. All of that is the problem. Because arecanut is one of the main, not main, it's like, what do you say, quite remunerative for farmers. Many region they do it as an integrated farming, growing with other crops. Therefore, an alternative source is very important for these places. So this is just some value addition to your idea. So in the budget, they said that they will start with, they will come up with this research. Okay. Right. Next, sericulture. Okay. Just the last slides, then we'll take a break. So sericulture mein, Ramnagar and Shidlaghatta, okay, which is considered as the largest cocoon market in Asia. So their high-tech market will be set up, okay, by the government in two phases by spending 150 crore and 250 crore. If you see previous budget, they asked how much money has been given, no? So in case if they ask how much money is being planned to be given to develop high-tech market for sericulture, 150 crore, 250 crore, 350 crore, 450 crores options. I feel sad sometimes. Group A exam, some effort has to be put to prepare good questions. Okay, it's so direct, so it's when merit gets lost in that. Probably what happens is last minute question paper preparation happens. Naale exam andre ivat ratri ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ನಾವು. That happened in mains once, I remember. Ethics paper got leaked. Ratri kutkondu ethics paper ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು. So that time they did not give, if you see, I think 2014, they did not give case studies. Because who will sit and do in the night case studies? And then they printed in colleges and gave it. Like that. Because no Kannada English illa andre it comes in your A4 sheets, it's printed in college. So ataralla circus ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. So a lot of student activists are also fighting towards reforming KPSC. So I would like to mention that commendable job being done by several individuals who are fighting to reform it. Okay. We can also reform it by promoting merit at the exam level also, at the prelim stage and all of that. Right. So raw silk reelers, they will be given subsidy of 12 crores through Karnataka Minority Development Corporation. And one more thing is bio-voltine silk cocoon. Currently, they are giving 10 rupees per kilo incentive. That is going to be increased to 30 kilos. They will ask this kind of question. So you have to write it. Okay. How much has been it increased from 10 to 30, 20 to 40, 30 to 50, 50 to 60. So that kind of question can also be asked. So 10 to 30. So this is sericulture. Okay. So what is bio-voltine silk? So basically you have two crops in a season. That's why the name. The silkworm name you can write down. So basically 2 generations per year. Okay, so the farmers will be able to harvest it twice. So with that, this is the end of part 1. Okay, post lunch we'll start with the schemes relating to women and child. Okay, so I hope you were able to write down, appreciate whatever we have discussed. So that's all. So gradually, if you build on these things, your effort to go and study and make notes would not be there. All right. So again, I'm telling you, if anybody wants to join mains test series, we'll be starting from the 1st of March. If anybody is finding CSAT difficult, I had informed earlier also, there is a CSAT test just for 499. 10 tests will be there in this program. You will find the difference if you're finding CSAT difficult. So those who have attended the CSAT test, the discussion will be, I think, at 4 o'clock today. So if anybody is interested in that also, sure, you should make use of this approach. Okay. So in the next, we'll take a half an hour break. Okay. So now is 1:15, 1:45. We will start with the next part. Okay. With respect to women and child, Harendra sir will discuss this. So in the next Sunday Manthan, I will also continue with the budget, and then we will add schemes and programs like that. So mix and match, we can cover more topic. For you guys, about 4 hours every Sunday. If we do it for the next 3 months, assuming that the notification will be released by then, your Karnataka 40 questions, very comfortable you will be. Okay, so beyond that, the static subjects, etc., you should be able to manage. CSAT can be managed like this. The idea was to solve the most difficult, most important questions. Okay, so we're sitting and planning and seeing which is the most probable topics that can be asked. So 300 topics will be covered over here, which would be enough for you to get enough marks to clear the exam, like that. So you may not be an expert in CSAT, but you should be able to manage it. So if that's the case, this will be helpful. So like this, we will try and address the other schemes. So we'll meet at 1:45 then. Yes, if you have any doubt, I am here. If you want to discuss anything else, is that okay? So you can have lunch and come at 1:45. We will start again. All right.